What's up, everybody, and welcome to my Smite God build for Fenrir. I'm starting out a little differently this time. I am not in the item builder, I am in jungle practice, and the reason I am in jungle practice is because I'm going to be doing two builds for Fenrir this time. One is going to be an offensive build, one is going to be a defensive build. I'm going to put the hyperlinks respectively for how I feel offense and defense should be. So offensive is going to be the red to my left, defense is going to be the blue to my right. So if you guys don't want to hear the overview of what Fenrir's abilities do, feel free to click on them when any time, and you will be brought to a point in the video where I talk about that build. But if you want to know what Fenrir's abilities do in a little more depth and go over them, if you haven't read them and you just kind of know what they do a little bit, or you don't know anything about Fenrir and this is just a build you want to watch to get yourself started, I'm going to go over them right now. So Fenrir's passive, Unbound Runes. Fenrir gains efficiency as he attacks. Every hit from a basic attack activates one rune, up to maximum of 5. Each of Fenrir's abilities gains an additional benefit when at maximum runes, and the runes are consumed once used. Enemy gods that Fenrir kill will activate the runes, it will activate all 5 of them. It's a nice buff. You get pretty much added benefits to every single one of his abilities with the 5 buffs, which is really nice. His first ability, Unchained, is a leap. Fenrir leaps forward, dealing damage to all enemies that he lands on. At full runes, the leap stuns and the enemy's hit. If the leap hits a god, the cooldown is halved. That's pretty nice. The runes are pretty awesome for Fenrir. The damage at full with I'll go back over what you get for the benefits with the offensive and defensive build, but right now at base at level 5 for his one will be 335. And the stun lasts for 1 second. The cooldown is 15 seconds, and the cost 85 mana. Fenrir's second ability, Seething Howl. Fenrir roars back and howls, inspiring himself with physical power and lifesteal buff. At full runes, the buff is increased by 50%, so his physical power is raised by 70. His physical lifesteal is 30%, and the buff duration is 6 seconds. The cooldown is 13 seconds, and it costs 80 mana. His third ability, in my opinion, the best ability, Brutalize, is another leap. Fenrir pounces at the ground to target location. If there is an enemy in the radius, he strikes them 4 times, dealing damage with each strike and being immune to knockups. At full runes, each strike deals 75% more damage to nearby enemies, which is really nice. This ability is really awesome. It's going to do 165 damage a tick, so leading up to roughly about like 600-700 damage, which is real nice. No, maybe like 500-600 damage. I'm kind of overshooting it there. Cooldown's 14 seconds, and it costs 90 mana. Ragnarok, ability single target. This is Fenrir's ultimate. Upon Ragnarok, Fenrir grows in massive size, becoming immune to CC while moving faster. Fenrir bites an enemy god, dealing physical damage and carrying them away. Biting a CC immune target deals damage, but it ends his ultimate. At full runes, his protections double, which is why people build tank rear. That's what we call it in the community. Well, at least my friends do. We call him tank rear. And that's like his ultimate is life when you use tank rear. It's going to deal 500 damage with no added benefits. It's going to do 50% extra movement speed, and the carry duration is 2 seconds. It's going to be 90-second cooldown, and it's going to cost 100 mana. Okay, so that is the overview of Fenrir's abilities. I'm going to go into his offensive build now. So first thing you're going to want to get for Fenrir's offensive build is Warrior Tabby. It is going to give you 40 physical power and 18% movement speed. And also I think I'm going to start doing builds in the jungle practice and not an item builder, because I will have the statistics up so you can see how Fenrir goes from base level 20 to a full build level 20, which is really nice. So you're going to pick that up. And next, actually right next to it, is going to be Heartseeker. I like to use Heartseeker on Fenrir, especially in the middle, or like very beginning of the game, because it procs off of everything but his 2. So that is actually really nice. So if you land on somebody, it's going to deal that extra damage. If you're going to hit them with a Brutalize, it's going to deal more damage like on the first hit, and then the 3 are just going to, you know, follow up with the damage. So Heartseeker is going to give you 25 physical power, 10 physical penetration, 10% movement speed, and its passive is every successful basic attack gives you 1 stack. At 5 stacks, your next ability deals damage to equal 100% of your physical power to the first enemy god hit. So that's what I like to use for Fenrir's Brutalize. Next on the list is going to be a penetration item, Titan's Bane. Pretty self-explanatory, 30 physical power, and its passive is 30. Pretty self-explanatory. It's 30 physical power, and its passive is gained 33 physical pen. It's a pretty good item. Next is actually right here, Jotun's Wrath. Jotun's Wrath is really good on pretty much every assassin, warrior, and pretty much any physical god. It gives you 40 physical power, 150 mana, 10 physical pen, and 20% cooldown reduction, which is really nice on Fenrir because you'll be able to use your abilities more, which means you'll be able to shred people even faster. So you're going to pick that one up. Next on the list is going to be an attack speed item. It is going to be the Executioner. So Executioner will give you 30 physical power, 25% attack speed, and its passive is every basic attack against gods reduce their target's physical protection by 12% for 3 seconds for a maximum of 3 stacks. Last but not least, the last item for Fenrir's offensive build will be Stone Cutting Sword. It will give you 50 physical power, 10% movement speed, and the passive is melee basic attacks decrease enemy physical protections by 10 and increase your physical protections by 10 for 3 seconds. So plus the Executioner stripping 12% of the physical protections, and then Stone Cutting stripping them by 10. You're pretty much just going to be wrecking anybody. For an offensive build, I'd like to say get Sundering Spear and get Horrific Emblem for Fenrir. It's just nice to sunder people and deal even more damage with Fenrir, especially with this Heartseeker proc. So if you sunder, hit with Heartseeker, and then you use your Brutalize, it's not even going to be fair. They're going to be down before you even hit them for the 4th time. I'm just going to demonstrate on Ra really fast and then switch over to the defense build. But Horrific Emblem, if you don't know what it is, if you just started playing Smite again, essentially it's just Curse, so they're not going to be able to move fast. But if you use the Sunder and then Brutalize, that's pretty much it. You just wreck Ra. No big deal, you know, just your Fenrir. You got your little top hat. It's bouncing along. Okay, we are now on to the defensive build for Fenrir. The first thing I'd like to do with Fenrir, same thing as the offensive build, is pick up the same boots. So Warrior Tabby, which you are going to be getting 40 physical power and 18% movement speed. So you're going to pick that up. Next thing for Fenrir for the defensive build, I like to pick up early for any god that I build defense on, is Hide of the Urchin. Hide of the Urchin gives you 35 physical protection, 35 magical protection, 250 health, and 250 mana, which is great for the early game. Its passive is you gain 3 magical protection and 3 physical protection for each god kill or assist, so a maximum of 10 stacks. So you get an extra 30 physical and magical protection at the end with all stacks, which is really nice. Next thing for Fenrir's defensive build will be a physical defense item, Breastplate of Valor. You get 65 physical protection, you get 300 mana, 10 MP5, and 20% cooldown reduction, which is really nice for Fenrir, especially in the early game, because like I said in my offensive build, if you didn't see that, cooldown is a lot for Fenrir. You'll be able to shred fast. Even with Tankrir, you'd be surprised how much damage you deal. Next thing is going to be a health and physical power item, which is weird for a defensive build, but Frostbound Hammer is really nice for Fenrir. You're going to get 25 physical power and 300 health. And the passive for Frostbound will be enemies hit by your basic attacks have their movement speed reduced by 30% and have all their attack speed reduced by 15%, but for 1.25 seconds, which is really nice for Fenrir, especially if you're being the tank for your team or if you're playing like support role in the duo lane. Slowing that enemy down is going to be really nice, and just they're going to be able to annihilate. Next thing will be a kind of a both item. It's for physical and magical defense. That's pretty much most of the build. We're not going to focus on one or the other. It's just going to be well-rounded for both. Spirit Robe. Spirit Robe gives you 40 physical protection and 40 magical protection. You're going to get 10% cooldown reduction and 20% crowd control reduction. Its passive is you gain an additional 15% damage mitigation for 3 seconds whenever you are hit with a hard crowd control effect. This can only occur every 15 seconds, so that's pretty nice. You're going to get more damage mitigation if you get like smacked down by something that'll stun you or, you know, run you away like Hunbat's ultimate. But next, last but not least, Mantle of Discord, probably one of the best defensive items in the game right now. You're going to get 60 magical protection, 60 physical protection, and 10% cooldown reduction, which will cap you at max for cooldown reduction for Fenrir. Passive, if you take damage below 30% health, you unleash a shockwave that stuns all enemies within a range of 20 units for 1 second. You gain CC immunity for that 1 second, and this cannot trigger more than once every 90 seconds. So, I know it says Sunder in Horrific Emblem down here for the relics, but just replace them with, I don't know, Aegis and Purification for Fenrir. That'd be pretty good. So just grab Aegis and Purification instead of Sunder and Horrific Emblem. And I'll show you really quickly how much damage you can, you know, tank, I guess, against the Ra. You know what? I'm not going to do it against the Ra. I'll do it against the Fire Giant because And the fire giant's just gonna deal a hell of a lot more damage than fucking Ra is. Alright. So, hit me, fire giant. Hit me. Yeah, that's one of his strongest dealing abilities. Yeah, like strongest damage dealing abilities. And if you would have been, you know, little damage rear, you'd be hurt. But tank rear cannot be stopped. Then you can use your life steal. Fire giant's probably gonna kill me, so I'm not gonna fight him anymore. But that's pretty much it for the builds for Fenrir. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like. How about we try to break 25 likes again, because that worked pretty well with the Nemesis build. I'm going to ask again if you guys can help me reach 75 subs. That'd be amazing. I think we can do it this time. We got really close last time with Nemesis build. So that's really... That I just vomited. Morty. Morty. Okay. So if you guys did enjoy this video, like I said before, make sure to leave a like. That's it for the Fenrir build. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you did enjoy that little intro. I don't know if I said that at the beginning of this video. I probably didn't. But I added an intro because one of my friends was like, why don't you have an intro? And I was like, I don't know. So that's pretty much it. Bye. You say that I'm paranoid, but I'm pretty sure the world is out to get me. It's not like I made the choice. So let my mind